grab your ninja and lace up your boots. It's time to get growing. Today's speakers include Sarah Bjorgard, Jacob Young, Haley Jensen, Deborah Starkey, and Bethany Shipley. We'll also take a trip up to the Northern Lights Farm and hear from Corey Howden. Are you ready to begin the 2021 Global Farm Tour? Grab your passports. It's time to discover YL. Hello, and welcome to our first virtual training event of 2021. My name is Mike Connaughton. I'm the Vice President of Sales here in the United States. We are so excited to share with you a new training event for the new year called Discover YL, the Clean Living Experience. Discover YL is all about what sets Young Living apart from other companies. This series of events is about our products, our community, and our mission of bringing Young Living essential oils to every home. A healthy home for each of us, a healthy world for all of us. Discover YL is tailored to your interests. After this opening segment, just like at our live events, you'll have the opportunity to choose the workshop that you attend. You'll also hear from Haley Jensen from our awesome training and education team. In her workshop, Discover Self-Care, Best Practices for a Happy, Healthier You. In the Brand Partner Workshop, we bring back the dynamic duo of Leon Atzity, our U.S. Director of Leadership Development, and Wilson Lillienquist, formerly of the U.S., who is now working in Canada as the Director of Leadership Development there. They have a fantastic training lineup, which includes RCD Deborah Starkey, who asks and answers the question, buy, build, or both, and Diamond Bethany Shipley, who will be sharing her thoughts on the habits that will create lasting momentum in your life and in your business. And the best part is, if you want to attend both workshops, you can do just that by going to the customer or the brand partner link at the top of this page and click on the workshop that you missed. And the best part is, if you don't have time to watch it today, it'll be live for the next 2 weeks. After the workshops, we come back together for a final message, so please stay with us through the entire event. Now, I am so honored that you are here today and so excited to share our all-star lineup. We're going to kick things off with an executive message from North America Regional President Sarah Bjorgard.
Hello everyone, I'm Sarah and welcome to your 2021 virtual passport to our global farms. This year we have some incredible things in store for you, your brand partners, and your customers. Besides amazing recognition, product highlights, and business training, we're excited for each of you to truly internalize what really makes us different here at Young Living. Our goal is to help you discover YL in a brand new way. With each and every event this year, we're going to transport you, in a sense, to a new Young Living farm somewhere around the world to experience firsthand our seed to seal promise. Young Living owns 10 corporate farms, and we partner with 15 additional farms around the world to guarantee that from sowing the seed to germination to growth to harvest to distillation and to the seal on the bottle, we know exactly what's in the product, and we can stand by it. You see, there's something about the day when you try a Young Living product for the very first time. But when you understand and internalize the incredible detail we put into our farming practices and our ingredients, you'll be a customer for life. I really believe that. As part of the mission and vision at Young Living, you will often hear us say that we care about a healthy home for each of us and a healthy world for all of us. We're serious about educating everyone we meet about the importance of getting toxins out of the home. That means using clean products for all your health and wellness needs, as well as what you clean your home with. For our entire lives, many of us were brought up using products, not looking at the labels, not researching the impact that so many of the ingredients have on the human body and even our environment. We graduate, we go to college. Most of us certainly don't think about ingredients in college, right? Many of us get married, and many of us have kids of our own. It's generally not till we personally have a health-related issue that maybe isn't as easily resolved as we'd like, or a child that struggles with some type of health-related issue that we get serious about taking control of our own bodies and the health of our families. I want to share a personal story with you today that might help you put things in perspective. 15 years ago, my beautiful son Kale was born. He was born a preemie, just over 4 pounds, if you can imagine. He had to stay in the NICU for about a week because he had challenges keeping his temperature and eating at the same time, but honestly, nothing majorly serious. We went home after a week, but for the first year, we struggled with every imaginable issue under the sun with his health. As a mom, I was devastated because I couldn't help him. We spent almost every week in the doctor's office and on every medication out there. That's where I personally began to take a strong interest in taking back the health of my son and going on this health and wellness journey myself. I started reading everything I could about ingredients and what they do in your body and how they impact your long-term health. We struggled off and on with Kale while I continued to do a lot more research over the years, and about the time Kale was to turn 4 years old, the pediatrician said, "Sarah, we think he's beginning to develop asthmatic symptoms." And as you can imagine, as a mom, I was, again, devastated. Now, we didn't have asthma in our family, to my knowledge at all. After sharing my latest news from the doctor with my girlfriend, she said, "What are you cleaning your home with?" And I had to sit there and think about it. And then I shared all the typical things that you normally clean your home with that you find on any of the store shelves. I used air fresheners and candles and bleach in my laundry and all of the things, right? She said a few years back, I made the switch to all non-toxic cleaning supplies. So I packed up all my old stuff, I put everything in a crate, and I set it out with my garbage on garbage day. The garbage man left a note on the crate next to the empty can, and it said, "We cannot dispose of these. They are toxic chemicals." From that moment, friends, I have never ever purchased anything to clean my home or my laundry that has a toxic ingredient. Well, wouldn't you know, about a month later, Kale's asthmatic symptoms started to improve, and I became convinced that I was on the right path. And so today, 11 years after that moment, I stand before you as the regional president of North America for Young Living. In all my research, I simply cannot find another company that cares more about the ingredients they use in their products and the earth those ingredients come from. The care that we take in our farming practices proves the authenticity of what I'm sharing with you today. As a family, we've taken steps to rid our home, our nutrition, our food, our personal care of toxic chemicals, which of course is always a work in progress. But what I can say is that I'm so proud to be using Young Living products in replacement. You know, isn't it funny how the world works? I was brought up on a tree farm and a nursery until I was in about 4th grade. My dad taught me about the importance of the soil, the seeds, and the beauty in the plants. I spent many days helping my dad plant trees and flowers, unload semis of root trees, and helping customers where I could at such a young age. And over 40 years later, I found a way back to my roots. So today, I want you to see what I see. You're going to hear from so many incredible people out there and their experiences, and they're going to teach you about the importance of the products. But what I love most is hearing from our farm managers and seeing firsthand the seed to seal promise come to life. Now, if you could walk away with anything today, keep this in the back of your mind. Number one, no one will care more about your health and wellness than you. Number two, you have total control to change the trajectory of your life. And today can be the first step. If all of that didn't inspire you today, and you're here because you know the product is great, but you're looking for maybe a side hustle, that's great too, because through the love of the products, the business continues to grow. As a global company, we finished over $2.2 billion in sales in 2020, a year of incredible challenge and change with the global pandemic. Additionally, over 1.6 million new customers fell in love with our Young Living product. To say that customers love Young Living products is an understatement. The side hustle here really is falling in love with the products and then just sharing what you really love. That's it. So whether you're here today as a potential customer, a brand new customer, a Spicer spouse, or a brand partner, there is a place for each of you. We can't wait for each of you to discover Young Living in a brand new way. I look forward to seeing you fill up your virtual passport this year as you take a tour of our Young Living global farms.
Thank you so much, Sarah. It is always great to hear from you. Now, during each Discover YL event, we are proud to feature one or two of our beloved farms. Today, we get a tour of a truly special and beautiful place, the Northern Lights Farm and Distillery in Fort Nelson, British Columbia. But before we go to British Columbia, we have a special treat, a tribute to our late founder, Gary Young, by taking you on a tour of the Skyrider Ranch in Tabiona, Utah. Skyrider is a special place for many reasons, as you'll see in this tour, but it's also Gary's final resting place.
I'm Skylar Olson. I manage the 18,000 acre Skyrider Ranch in Tabiona, Utah. I live here with my wife and two boys. I have a 5-year-old and a 5-month-old. They don't know anywhere else. It instills a love of the land that I don't think you can get without living here and putting so much of your life into it. It's home to us. When people come here, I love to hear that they say it's beautiful and it's peaceful and it's quiet. But it takes a lot of work to get there. The seed to seal guidelines we use in all of our farming practices are very time consuming. It's much easier to use traditional methods of, pump fertilizer into the soil, like artificially kill off anything with herbicides or spray for weeds. Like, we don't do any of that. So for instance, we have bison that we rotationally graze through pastures to build topsoil. They're uniquely awesome at building topsoil. We will now pull them out and we can plant einkorn in that field or whatever we want. We have nice healthy fields that are, we've organically regenerated that soil through the means of bison and animals. That's also on the D. Gehring Wildlife Sanctuary, which is 11,000 acres. And we segregate the field. So we'll have a field of hay and then a barrier for a wildlife corridor. It's full of cottonwood trees and willows and brush, and it gives stuff a place to hide. We mitigate and we help the wildlife get through wintertime by keeping those corridors together. So Gary and Young Living purchased the sanctuary 3 years ago, I believe. It's neighboring to Skyrider. It was available to sell, and Gary felt that it was important to wrap up and get it intact. And shortly after he passed, we commemorated it with the D. Gehring Wildlife Sanctuary. Every now and then I'll go right up to his grave and just sit there for a minute, and take it in. And I tell people, if they never got a chance to meet Gary, you need to come here to Skyrider, because everything about this is Gary. The lodge, the horses, the buffalo, the views, it's all who Gary was. I owe a lot to that guy, personally. It certainly changed my life. And I still feel that way. Every day I get up and I look at the mountains and the valley, and it's just, this is as good as it gets for me. There's a team of people that work here, and they all work really hard. This place will not be finished by the time I die. We'll still be working towards it, and it's a long process to provide products like that. And if you come to Skyrider, I hope you take away how special this was to Gary. This is close to his heart, and how much he cared about doing it the way we're doing it. This is something very special.
Wow, what an amazing and beautiful place. So incredible to see the dedication to creating healthy soil through natural methods and the support of our wildlife. You can clearly see why it is such a special place to Gary. For me, and I'm certain for many of you, Young Living's dedication to our farms, our farming practices, which drive the Seed to Seal promise, is the difference maker. That's why we want to share our farms in a big way during our Discover YL events throughout the year. And I've moved into my office for this segment because I am excited to introduce to you Corey Howden, our Business Development Director of Global Farms, who is going to take us on a tour of the Northern Lights Farm and Distillery in Fort Nelson, British Columbia. Welcome, Corey. So glad to have you here.
Thank you, Mike.
Well, listen, tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been with YL? Tell us about your farm.
Well, I guess I started 6 years ago in 2014 when I come up to build the farm with Gary and worked through the construction and then took over and managed the farm up until today. So that journey has been pretty long, I guess, for the Northern Lights Farm since its inception.
Tell us about Gary's influence on the farm and Gary's influence on you during that process.
Oh, wow. Well, the farm is Gary. I mean, everything about it. He was there, he designed, he created, he organized, and, completely changed my life. You know, when you get to work with a maverick and live with a maverick and understand the reasons, the purpose, you become so differently connected to exactly what Seed to Seal is. I mean, it changed everything about who I was.
Let's talk about that. I mean, talk about your own progression, not only as a farmer, a farm manager, and as a person through that influence, both at the farm and working alongside Gary.
So I guess my essential oil Young Living journey started 20 years ago. You know, I was introduced to the product and used the product, but really had no appreciation for what it was. It was just another product. And it worked and appreciated it, but had no depth to that appreciation until I came and met Gary and started building the farm and understood what went into making these essential oils. The absolute dedication to purity, every step of the process, how it's honored. Everything changed. It didn't become a product anymore. It became something that was of purpose and with passion and completely changed my connection. And, you know, not everyone had the opportunity to live and work with Gary Young, but that transformation that happened in me is something that you can't ever put down. When you can't ever unlearn that for the rest of your life. So it was a very special journey.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, let's dive into a little bit about Northern Lights Farm and Distillery. Tell us about what makes Northern Lights special in your eyes.
Well, it's in the name. It's the Northern Lights. I mean, the Northern Lights is an energy. It's something you can feel, you can see on a crisp night. You can hear it. You know, it's something that is over this land. It's over the plants. It's over the soil. It's over our distillery. It's over all life here, and it saturates. And you know, something changes. And although it's hard to understand, anybody who stood under the Northern Lights on a cold, dark night can understand that power. And so, you know, that's in the name of our distillery, but we live, breathe, and sleep in that energy. And so do these plants, and so do the products that come from this farm.
Let's talk about the plants and the products that thrive in that energy that come from the farm. Tell us what you guys farm regularly and walk us through that process from seed to seal, quite literally.
Yeah, so at the farm, we have 4 different oils that have been made available as of very recent to Young Living members. That's obviously our Northern Lights Black Spruce, and now we have a Northern Lights White Spruce, a Northern Lights Lodgepole Pine, and a Northern Lights Subalpine Fir. And so all of those are planted at our farm, and we work with the forestry department and thin and plant and grow at the farm. So those are the 4 products that are available to Young Living members from the farm. And that seed to seal process, you know, we talk seed to seal, but seed to seal really starts with the soil, the condition of the soil, the purity of the soil. Everything about the soil is what nurtures and creates life for those seeds. So we go through a great amount of effort to make sure that the soil mimics and in every way is as close to a forest floor as possible where we plant the trees, and in our fields and in the forest where we plant trees. And then that process of seed to seal goes all the way through the growth cycle, through the harvest, through the distillation, all the way to our labs for testing and into the bottle of essential oil, which the members get to use.
And when you have soil that's healthy, just like a forest floor, what does that do to the yield, and how does that flow through and truly influence the quality of the products?
So a healthy soil is a living soil. It's a soil that is full of microbes and little moving things that are feeding and moving water and nutrients to and from the plant. And the trees, when they grow in their natural soil, they become the purest form of whatever we can get for an essential oil out of the tree. The life force of that tree is, it requires to have its natural, the way it always was, nutrients and delivery system to the tree to be able to produce what we would call the purest essential oil.
How do you distill those purest essential oils up there in Northern Lights?
So we load our wood chips. We chip the trees into wood chips and we load them into large stainless steel vats where we introduce steam to them. And that steam process goes through and takes out any of the essential oil that's trapped in the needles and the branches of the tree. And then that comes through into a water separator where the water and the oil separate, and we take the oil off the top, and that's the essential oil.
For those that are watching and attending today, talk us through why Seed to Seal and all of the things that you guys do as a part of your farming practices. Why those things are important to those that are attending it today, and really the entire Young Living community.
Seed to Seal is a guarantee of quality, and it means that we have control of the plant all the way through the process. With our labs for testing, we control where that essential oil touches, every material that comes in contact with it. And so the only way that we can have absolute in that arena, know that it was only in food grade stainless steel, know that the water that was introduced to it was drinking water, was the right pH, know that that entire process is being honored that Gary created, is what makes Seed to Seal. And Seed to Seal isn't just about the oil. Seed to Seal is about the way, the energy, the health and wellness of the employees that work with it. It's about the community that it comes from. Seed to Seal is so much more than any other sort of credential that you could have, because it's all encompassing. Gary left a statement that said, in Seed to Seal, there is no separation. And I think that means in the process, in the people, in the land, in the community. And that's what makes Young Living special and this brand of Seed to Seal.
Fantastic, Corey. Thank you. Anything else about the Northern Lights Farm or your time with Gary that you'd like to share that's unique, special, or especially dear to your heart?
Sure. I would love to, first of all, invite all of our members. The only reason we do this is because of the members. The only reason we have this process, the reason we honor this, is because of the impact it has in their lives. And so we just, what's special to us up here is when we have our winter harvest, when we have their tours, when people come and see us, walk through the process, and they get to touch this. And more than anything, for all of our employees up here, it means the world to see people who appreciate all of the steps, all of the effort. And that appreciation is really what drives us at the Northern Lights Farm.
Well, we appreciate you guys so much, all the hard work and the dedication to these wonderful products. I know everybody really, really is excited about these farm tours and really what makes the difference for Young Living. Where can our attendees find more information about the Northern Lights Farm and Distillery?
Well, at younglivingfarmtours.com, we'll be back up and open at the end of March, and we invite everybody to come and book a visit, come see us, come audit Seed to Seal for yourselves.
Fantastic. Corey, thank you so much for your time today. Thanks for the tour of your beautiful, beautiful farm and distillery. And I can feel that Northern Lights energy. I think I can feel it already just coming right through the screen. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome, Mike. I appreciate being here. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Such a great day. 2 farms. So grateful to have both Skylar and Corey on today. So grateful. So let's take a quick break. And then when you come back in about 5 minutes, click on the customer or the brand partner tab for the workshops. We'll see you in a few minutes.